Resuming debate, the honourable member for Humble River Black Creek.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And it's truly an honour today to be able to join the acknowledgement for Queen Elizabeth II. Before I make my brief comments, I want to acknowledge the tragedy in Saskatchewan and the loss of 2 police officers in the GTA in the last few days. And what a tremendous loss that is for the communities at large in both parts of our country. So I stand today on behalf of the residents of Humber River Black Creek and the residents of Toronto and want to acknowledge the tremendous loss we have with losing the Queen, our Queen. I grew up in Moncton, New Brunswick, and my grandmother and aunts were tremendously fond of the Queen and would often talk about what she was wearing this day and that day, but most especially they talked about the hats that she had on. But I think the visual was the hat that she had on, but what wasn't so visible was the many hats that she carried every single day in order for the world that we live in 70 years ago and today to move forward in a peaceful fashion. The fact that she was constantly solid, she never looked frazzled, and she never seemed to let on about the amount of tragedy that she possibly was trying to cope with in her own life. She always looked together. She always looked like someone that we could depend on to be there as the head of the Commonwealth, to move our many, many areas forward on so many different ways that we had to deal with. Never did you see the Queen looking as if she didn't have the answers. She always seemed to have the answers when it was necessary to move us forward. But think back to 70 years ago when the Queen was asked to become the Queen and the leadership that she has shown in those many years. Long before it became the in thing for women to be recognized, she was put in that position as a woman, and she showed a tremendous amount of leadership that made us all proud. And I think forever in the day, we will always hold up Queen Elizabeth as a true leader, a true feminist, as they might want to call anyone, and move forward on all of these issues. We'll always look back and say she was the first who really stood out there in a strong, powerful way as a female to lead our countries and our Commonwealth forward. And so I want to thank her again on behalf of all of the residents of Humber River Black Creek for her lifelong commitment to Canada. But to make a lifelong commitment, as she did, to public service, we are asked to make a commitment to public service, and we accept that challenge. But for us, it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's not 70 years. And her commitment never moved. She made that commitment, and she continued with it for so many times. And all of us very much depended on her to be our Queen. And the fact that she visited Canada so many times meant so much, I think, to the residents, to Canadians, that the Queen was coming to visit. And it certainly was a big deal 50 years ago, and I think it was still a big deal today when the Queen was going to come and visit. Her commitment and devotion to all of us, members of the Commonwealth, but to world peace and the many endeavors that she put forward to make a difference in the world were important. So it's with very heavy hearts that we realize that legends have to pass away too. But I believe the Queen's legacy, the Queen's leadership, will live forever for all of us. A whole era has passed, almost a century of life. Her wisdom, her strength, and her dedication guided the Commonwealth and all of its people for 70 years of Her Majesty's reign. The strength that she demonstrated publicly, dealing with the many tragedies that she had to deal with in her lifetime as well, was an example of strength for all of us. The Queen once said in her Christmas message, and I know my colleagues have mentioned this already, each day is a new beginning. And I think as I say those words, I can hear her saying it, that she said it often. And I think this is a message for all of us. Each day is a new beginning. And I know that the only way to live my life is to try to do what is right, to take the long view, to give of my best in all that the day brings, and to put my trust in God. I think that would be a kind of a sentiment that would be nice if we all said this at the beginning of every day, especially in the House of Commons. It might help guide us all to do the important work that we want to do what's right every single day. Not always politically right, but to do what's right for Canadians. It's also what's right for ourselves, because we have to look at ourselves in the mirror. And I can only suggest that the Queen, when our Queen looked in the mirror, she was satisfied because she gave it all to all of us. So may I say to our new King Charles III, I wish him luck, success, and peace as he takes on a very, very challenging job. But we'll be there for him, as we were there for our Queen. God bless King Charles III, and may our Queen rest in peace. Thank you.